In this lecture, we are going to discuss two major issues. The first one is management learning past to present, or simply history of management. And we are going to explain three basic approaches, which are the classical management approaches, behavioral management approaches, and modern management foundations. The second issue is environment, innovation, and sustainability. And we are going to explain five important topics, which are first, the external environment, second, environment and value creation, third, environment and innovation, fourth, environment and sustainability, and finally, we are going to discuss some important concepts you should know. Now, we are going to discuss the history of management science, and we are going to begin with the classical management approaches. Our study of management begins with a focus on the three major classical approaches, which are first, scientific management, second, administrative principles, and third, bureaucratic organization. The figure which presented in the next slide ties each of these classical approaches to prominent historical figures, which are Taylor, Fayol, or Weber. Also, the classical approaches share a common assumption. People rationally consider their opportunities and do whatever is necessary to achieve the greatest personal and monetary gain. As you see, the figure shows the major branches in the classical approach to management, which are, as we said before, scientific management and administrative principles and the bureaucratic organization. Let us begin with Frederick Taylor's. Frederick Taylor's principles of scientific management focused on the need to carefully select and train and support workers for individual task performance. Where Henry Fayol suggested that managers should learn what are now known as the management functions of planning and organizing and leading and controlling. Max Weber described bureaucracy with its clear hierarchy and formal rules and well-defined jobs as an ideal form of organization. Now, we are going to discuss and explain behavioral management approaches. During the 1920s, an emphasis on the human side of the workplace began to influence management thinking. Major branches in the behavioral or human resource approaches to management are shown in the figure presented in the next slide. The behavioral approaches shifted management attention toward the human factor as a key element in organizational performance. Also, behavioral approaches assume that people enjoy social relationships and respond to group pressures and search for personal fulfillment. These historical foundations set the stage for what is now known as the field of organizational behavior, the study of individuals and groups in organizations. As you see, the figure shows foundations in the behavioral or human resource approaches to management. Let us begin with Mary Parker Follett, which described organizations as communities within which members combine talents to work for a greater good. The Hawthorne studies suggested that work behavior is influenced by social and psychological forces, and that work performance may be improved by better human relations. Where Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of human needs introduced the concept of self-actualization and the potential for people to experience self-fulfillment in their work. Douglas McGruger urged managers to shift away from theory X and toward theory Y thinking, which views people as independent and responsible and capable of self-direction in their work. Where Chris Algris pointed out that adults may react negatively when constrained by strict management practices and rigid organizational structures. Modern management foundations. We can summarize the modern management foundations in the following points. First, analytics that use advanced quantitative analysis techniques in decision sciences and operations management can help managers solve complex problems, of course. Second, organizations are open systems that interact with their external environments while consisting of many internal subsystems that must work together in a coordinated way to support the organization's overall success. Third, contingency thinking avoids one best way arguments, and instead recognizing the need to understand situational differences and respond appropriately to them. Fourth, quality management focuses on making a total commitment to product and service quality throughout an organization and maintaining continuous improvement and meeting worldwide quality standards such as ISO certification. Fifth, evidence-based management uses findings from rigorous scientific research to identify management practices for high performance. Now, we are going to discuss the relationships between environment and innovation and sustainability. And let us begin with the external environment. The external environment can be classified into the economic environment influences organizations through the health of the local and domestic and global economies in terms of such things as financial markets, inflation, income levels, unemployment, and job outlook. Second, the legal political environment influences organizations through existing and proposed laws and regulations, and government policies also, and the philosophy and objectives of political parties. Third, the socio-cultural environment influences organizations through the norms, customs, and demographics of a society or region, as well as social values on such matters as ethics and human rights and gender roles and lifestyles. Fourth, technological environment influences organizations through continuing advancement of information and computer technologies that affect the way we work. Fifth, the natural environment. Con- The natural environment conditions influence organizations through the abundance of natural resources provided and the need for organizational practices that both meet the needs of customers and protect future well-being. Environment and value creation. The specific environment or task environment consists of suppliers, customers, competitors, regulators, and the other stakeholders with which an organization interacts. A competitive advantage is achieved when an organization does something very well that allows it to outperform its competitors. Environmental uncertainty is created by the rate of change of factors in the external environment and the complexity of this environment in terms of the number of factors that are relevant and important. Environment and innovation. Product innovations deliver new products and services to customers, where process innovations improve operations, of course, and business model innovations find new ways of creating value and making profits. Social business innovations use business models to help address social problems, things like poverty, famine, disease, and literacy. The innovation process involves moving from the stage of invention, which is discovery and idea creation, all the way to final application, which is the actual use of what has been created. Reverse innovation finds innovation opportunities in diverse locations, such as taking products and services developed in emerging markets and finding ways to use them elsewhere. Disruptive innovation, often involving technological advancements, and can be defined as the creation of a new product or service that starts out small scale and then becomes so widely used that it displaces prior practices and competitors. Environment and sustainability. Sustainability is a commitment to recognize and to protect the rights of both present and future generations as co-stakeholders of the world's natural resources. The triple bottom line evaluates how well organizations perform in economic, social, and environmental performance criteria. It's also called the three P's of organizational performance, which are profits, people, and planet. Sustainable development uses environmental resources to support society today while also preserving and protecting those resources for use by future generations. Sustainable innovations pursue new ways of minimizing the negative impact and maximizing the positive impact of organizations on the natural environment by reducing energy and natural resources consumption. Now, we are going to explain some important concepts you should know, which are business model innovations, innovations that result in ways for firms to make money, competitive advantage, something that an organization does extremely well and is difficult to copy and gives it an advantage over competitors in the marketplace. Environmental capital or natural capital, the supply of natural resources, atmosphere, land, water, and minerals that sustains life and produces goods and services for society. Environmental uncertainty, a lack of information regarding what exists in the environment and what developments may occur. General environment, the economic, legal, political, sociocultural, technological, and natural environment, the conditions in which an organization operates. Specific environment or task environment, the people and the groups with whom an organization interacts. Stakeholders, the persons and the groups and institutions directly affected by an organization. Sustainable innovations or green innovations, innovations that help reduce an organization's negative impact and enhance its positive impact on the natural environment.